The Rouran Khaganate, Ruru, or Tantan, was the name of a state established by proto-Mongols for the late 4th century until the middle 6th century. Rouran is a classical Chinese transcription of the endonym of the confederacy.Ruanruan, and Ruru remained in usage despite being derogatory. They derived from orders given by the Emperor Taiwu of Northern Wei, who waged war against the Rouran and intended to intimidate the confederacy. According to Rene Grousset, Juan, an alternate Chinese name for the Rouran, was a disparaging pun derived from Ruanruan, unpleasantly wriggling insects. The power of the Rouran was broken in 555 by an alliance of Gokturks, the states of northern Xi and northern Zhou, and tribes in Central Asia. It has sometimes been hypothesized that the Rouran are synonymous with the Pannonian Avars, also known by names such as Varchanites and Pseudo-Avars, who settled in Eastern Europe during the 6th century. This, however, is not generally accepted, and there are other theories regarding the origin of the Pannonian Avars. Origin and expansion. The Rouran were a confederation led by Xiaobei people who remained in the Mongolian steppes after most Xiaobei migrated south to northern China and set up various kingdoms. They considered the Taiwu and Rourans to be descended from common ancestors. Also, some contemporary historians studying the history of Northern Wei, like Kwok Kin Poon, proposed that the Rouran descended specifically from Xiaobei of Donghu heritage. They were first noted as having defeated the Tial and establishing an empire extending all the way to the Hulin, an alliance in eastern Inner Mongolia. During the reign of Yuezhi Ulushelin, Rouran became a powerful empire. To the west of the Rouran Khaganate was the Hephthalite Empire, which was a vassal of the Rouran until the beginning of the 5th century. The Hephthalites and Rouran had close contact, although they had different languages and cultures, and the Hephthalites borrowed much of the political organization from the Rouran. In particular, the title Khan, which according to McGovern was original to the Rouran, was borrowed by the Hephthalite rulers. The reason for the migration of the Hephthalites southeast was to avoid pressure from the Rouran. Further, the Hephthalites defeated the Yuezhi in Bactria, and the leader Khiruge led the Yuezhi to the south. The Rouran controlled the area of Mongolia from the Manchurian border to Turpan and, perhaps, the east coast of Lake Balkhash, and from the Orkhon River to China proper. Their ancestor Magulu is said to have been originally a slave of the Taiwu tribes, situated at the north banks of Yellow River Bend. Maglu's descendant Yuezhi Ulushelin is said to be the first chieftain who was able to unify the Rouran tribes and to found the power of the Rouran by defeating the Tial and Xiaobei. Shelin was also the first of the steppe peoples to adopt the title of Khagan in 402, originally a title of the Xiaobei nobility. The Rouran Khaganate arranged for one of the princesses, Khagan Yuezhi Uluanigwe's daughter Princess Ruru, to be married to the Han Chinese ruler Gao Wan of the Eastern Wei. The Rouran and the Hephthalites had a falling out, and problems within their confederation were encouraged by Chinese agents. In 508, the Tial defeated the Rouran in battle. In 516, the Rouran defeated the Tial. Within the Rouran Confederation was a Turkic tribe noted in Chinese annals as the Gokturks. After a marriage proposal to the Rouran was rebuffed, the Gokturks joined the Western Wei, successor state of the Northern Wei, and revolted against the Rouran. In 555, they beheaded 3,000 Rouran. Some scholars claim that the Rouran then fled west across the steppes and became the Avars, though many other scholars contest this claim. The remainder of the Rouran fled into China, were absorbed into the border guards, and disappeared forever as an entity. The last Khagan fled to the court of the Western Wei, but at the demand of Tujue, Western Wei executed him and the nobles who accompanied him. Little is known of the Rouran ruling elite, which the Book of Wei cited as an offshoot of the Xiaobei. The territory of the Rouran Khaganate comprised Mongolia, Buryatia, Zabaykalsky Krai, Southern Irkutsk Oblast, Tuva, Altai Republic, Altai Krai, Northern Xinjiang, Inner Mongolia, Eastern Kazakhstan, Southern Siberia and northeast China from the late 4th century. The frequent interventions and invasions profoundly affected neighboring countries. Though they admitted the Ashina of Gokturk into the federation, the power of the Rouran was broken by an alliance of Gokturk, the states of Northern Xi and Northern Zhou, and the Central Asian tribes in 555. The Northern Wei, for instance, established the 6 garrisons bordering the Rouran, which later became the foci of several major mutinies in the early 6th century. Khagans of the Rouran. The Rurans were the first people who used the titles Khagan and Khan for their emperors, replacing the Chani of the Xiongnu, whom Grusat and others assumed to be Turkic. Yushi Ulu Mughulu, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Chalu Hui, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Tunugui, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Bati, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Disuyuan, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Pihuba, a 4th century. Venheti, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Mangati, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Hejuahan, a 4th century. Yushi Ulu Shalin, 402 to 410. Yushi Ulu Hulu, 410 to 414. Yushi Ulu Datan, 414 to 429. Yushi Ulu Wuti, 429 to 444. Yushi Ulu Tu Hezhen, 444 to 450. Yushi Ulu Yusheng, 450 to 485. Yushi Ulu Dulan, 485 to 492. Yushi Ulu Nagai, 492 to 506. Yushi Ulu Fuchu, 506 to 508. Yushi Ulu Chaunus, 508 to 520. Yushi Ulu Anagui, 520 to 552. Yushi Ulu Peluimin, 521 to 524. Yushi Ulu Tiefa, 552 to 553. Yushi Ulu Dengzhu, 553. Yushi Ulu Kangti, 553. Yushi Ulu Anluochen, 553 to 554.